We are on day 3 of this pullback, which in my opinion is the pullback that actually kick off the parabolic move that usually happens once every 4 years, right about this time. Now today we have some crypto in the news. We have a special guest from an upcoming game built on Unreal 5's engine that looks really fun. And the game is in testing right now, which means it'll be here to the market soon. We also have the Rain is Always Right segment, and we will briefly take a look at Bitcoin's price. We will take your questions, and we will also thank our sponsors and partners, OneChain and NordVPN. We will let you also know about a cool NFT launch that's happening later today that I've been participating in. This is round 3. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain, and if you like money in crypto and are looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video and subscribing with that all notifications button on. Now we want to bring on our guest for today. Now this guest is the CEO of a new game coming out called Mouse Hunt, and I did do a short about it the other day, and we asked the team to join us. Now this is our first guest during a live stream, so we practice and hopefully have no technical difficulties, but if we have them, just a little bit of patience. We're figuring out the guest during live stream thing so that we can continue that. We're also new to live streaming. We've been doing it for about a week, and you're always bad before you're good at things, right? So we want to thank our special guest Pedro for joining us. Pedro, thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you very much for having me here today. I'm really excited to present some news about the Mouse Hunt project with everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate your team. They were really good. They gave me a download link so that I can download or test out. I don't know if it's alpha or beta. I saw some good footage of it, and it looked really cool. I was like, oh, this is fun. I would totally play this. So they sent me is it an alpha or beta stage? But it's got a playable version.
That's actually an alpha. It's a vertical slice. It's even before an alpha.
Okay.
That is a version when the game was still in Unreal 4. Now we're bringing it to Unreal 5. We have redesigned the player characters, so it's gonna look way better than what it looks now.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's fun to be able to see some mechanisms already together in some of the gameplay so you can get a feel for games. Because there's a lot of games that are like starting like right now, and they're like, oh, we're doing this fundraise, and we had an artist do 5 different graphics of these are what our characters will look like. So one of my quick screening mechanisms is, how long has the game been in development? Okay, 2 years? Okay, I like it. And so when I was talking to your team, I like that you guys have been in development for a while. You have something already semi-tangible, and so that just means also it'll be here and playable soon, because there's a lot of games in the works right now, but games that'll be playable soon or relatively soon, there's few of those.
Yeah.
So would you tell the audience a little bit about Mouse Hunt? Would you mind?
Absolutely, yeah. I think like that's our main drive and our main market differential is that we actually have a very fun game. Like, it's being play tested. I've brought it to many events in the US, here in Canada as well. So that like we are all coming together with a product in the center of what we're building, and the product is a fun to play game. It has some like original mechanics and innovative gameplay. So, for example, it's kind of talking a little bit about the game itself. Mouse Hunt is a 3D asymmetrical multiplayer where 2 teams of mice and ghosts battle. So the goal of the mice team is to reach the end of the castle where they will find the cheese. But this cheese is so smelly that the smell of the cheese becomes the ghosts, and the ghosts are trying to protect the cheese. So because if the mouse eats the cheese, there's no more ghosts, right? And the innovative part of it is that there is no direct interaction between the teams. The mice can't just straight up shoot the ghosts, and the ghosts can't just straight up hit the mice. All the player interaction actually occurs through the environment. So they're going around in this haunted castle, and how the gameplay goes is that the ghosts, they can possess any object within the castle. They can activate traps, they can activate furnaces, fireplaces, wrecking balls, or just straight up throw chairs and knives at the mice. and the mice have to dash out of the way or use their shotguns, or we're going to be adding more weapons as well to blow up this furniture to pieces and defend themselves against the ghost. On top of that, when you die as a mouse hero, it's not the end. You come back and you change sides, you become a ghost, and now your objective is to go against your former teammates. and yeah, it just changes in the middle of the battle, and everyone keeps playing up until the end. So yeah, we want to keep the fun going for everyone. We don't want anyone kicked out of the match.
And it looked fun. The trailer, I'm trying to remember. I took a look at it a couple days ago. Where can the viewers find the trailer so they can get a feel for it?
So the trailer, it's on our YouTube.
Okay.
So
if they just YouTube Mouse Hunt, it'll probably come up.
I guess there's thousands of videos there, but we have an official channel, Mouse Hunt Official.
Perfect. That'll give the viewers an idea of the graphics, and so those graphics were on the Unreal 4 engine even.
Yes, and you can also check the website www.mousehound.com. There's a lot of information there as well about the game, and we have some videos and GIFs and screenshots there. And the white paper has a ton of screenshots as well. So yeah, there's a lot of content for you guys to check it out.
And you've already been doing some NFT sales, I saw, or you will be soon, right? I can't remember the details, and I apologize.
Yes. We have done our first whitelist already, and it was like a major success. Like, and we had a number in mind of how much we would sell, and we doubled that number, the optimistic number that we had. So like it was really successful in that end. Right now, that was closed the end of last week, and right now we're on our second whitelist. And yeah, feel free to join it. We're gonna have 5,000 winners, and the first one was just 1,000 people. Now it's gonna be 5,000, and that's part of our strategy of like having the players own the NFTs and have the players own the tokens. We didn't want to have any major whales, we want to have a very healthy ecosystem and player base from the get-go. So that and like that's how we're thinking we're going to be launching, and that's what we are striving for.
Yeah, on our end, we'd much prefer to see that you're selling to the community members rather than big VCs and stuff who will often sell a lot of the tokens.
Crypto, right? Like, it's the beauty of crypto. It's decentralized. Like, we want to cut the middleman as well.
Totally. Well, thank you for joining us. This is our first time having a live stream during the live stream with a project. So thank you for joining us, Pedro, and sharing with the audience more about Mouse Hunt. And I guess maybe D Money can get a link from you, and we'll put that below so that those that are interested in doing. Now, question, because about 30% of our audience in the U.S. is the U.S. able to participate for the NFTs and other things?
We're doing the sale through our website. Through smart contracts. So you connect your MetaMask wallet. If you're whitelisted, you'll be able to buy it.
Perfect. Cool. We'll include that link in the video below. I know a lot of our U.S. audience gets locked out of a lot, and it's frustrating. So I like that you're raising your funds directly through the community. That way, if it does well, they can benefit instead of having to buy when it's already like 50x or something.
Yeah.
All right, Pedro, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah. All right. That was great. D Money, great job on that, by the way.
Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks. It's a little bit. It's switching cables and switching screens and all sorts of things. And now you're talking to me while I'm trying to switch microphones around. No, it's super cool. And I loved. I like those quirky like dynamics in games, like mechanisms. One of my favorite game series is Plants vs. Zombies. And it's just right, like they've made a Plants vs. Zombies Heroes and number 1, number 2, number 3. It's kind of a silly theme, right? Mm-hmm. But when he was talking about the mice and the ghosts and everything, I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. Like I love those kind of silly dynamics.
Yeah, totally. For the audience out there, welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I am your host, Jay Rain. So we're going to get right over to a look at Bitcoin, and we're going to have D-Money share my screen. And if you don't mind, if you could bring up so I can see, that would be great. Awesome. Okay, got my screen for you here. It looks like it's got the right side cut off, so they can't see numbers, though. I can decrease the size. Let me take care of that then. Here we go. Because I want you to be able to see numbers of where we're at. But sometimes switching between things gets a little bit difficult to see it. Perfect. All right. So we're at 58,000 on Bitcoin, and we've had this big retracement all the way from, we hit almost 70,000. And so when you're new in crypto and you see these kind of numbers, it can be scary, especially because if you're invested in altcoins, some of them have also dipped 10 or 20%. And you're just not used to those kind of dips. Even if you've been a stock investor or other things, you're not used to those kind of swings. And a lot of people come into crypto thinking that that number only goes up, and it does not only go up. And so if you look at the history, I mean, just look how normal this is. Look at this big, they call this like a Bart Simpson pattern because it looks like Bart Simpson's hair, right? Comes up, does this little number, and then it comes back down similar to where it was at. And then it took off. And look, this was in August, right before then a really, really big move that happened, really you could say starting early October. So during that time, Bitcoin went from 10,000 all the way up to about 65,000 starting last year in October, and then all the way through this April. It's come down and retraced a little bit, scared everybody. Look at this big dip right here. So it came all the way down just really briefly, went up all the way to 37,000, and then it came down below 30,000, freaked people out, and then look what happened after. So don't let this stuff freak you out, but this is why I say don't do leverage. Just don't do it to yourself. Leverage is the best way to lose money during the middle of a bull run because you get liquidated on dips like this and you look and see how normal they are. And so it could even break through this level and come down a little bit cheaper. I don't think it will, but it is a possibility, and this is why I don't worry. I don't take out leverage so I don't have to sit here and stress because I know where the overall trend is very likely to go. All right, so our rain is always right section. Now, quick clarification on this. I am not always right. Sometimes I'm wrong before I'm right. And every once in a while, I'm just plain on not right. When do I say what? I'm sometimes wrong before I'm right. I was an early investor in Axie Infinity. And do you know when you were an early investor in Axie Infinity, it was about 18 months of complete heartache. So I didn't put a lot into it. I put about $4,000 into it. And that $4,000 didn't do well at all until about 18 months later. And it possibly even retraced to about 1,000. It was hard to tell because it was in NFT items. So it's like you would have to price out each individual item to know exactly where the prices were at. But generally, the prices on the land that I had a lot of, and also some items that came from those chests, had gone down to a fourth or a half of what you paid for, depending on how good the land piece was. And so if you think about it in number terms, that 4,000 went down to about 1,000, maybe 1,500. It's hard to tell. And then it went crazy. And if I still had all those items and all that land still today, it'd be worth about $5 million from $4,000 investment. So was I right on this? I was absolutely right. But what happened before I was right? I was wrong before I was right. So I'm almost always right because I look for solid fundamentals. I look for certain markers of a project that has a higher chance than normal of progressing, and then I try to buy at good prices. So with that, rain is always right segment. How do you like the name of that, D?
I like it, but isn't it rain is almost always right?
I like the name Rain is Always Right segment way better.
Yeah, rain is always right. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at Solend. Now this is one where I was right. I was completely right. We loaded up on this here, and it's hard to get this chart to behave. Okay, what I really want to do, missed it. It's hard to keep those. No, it doesn't want to play along. So it dipped down here after it launched, and its IDO price was right around $6. took off. One of my viewers in Patreon brought this to my attention. He asked me to look at it, and of course I give my Patreon members extra attention, so I was like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. He said there were big backers behind it, but he didn't clarify. I looked, and it's like those big backers behind it are Coinbase Ventures, Sam Bankman-Fried. Also, I have no idea how to say his last name. I say it differently every single time. Fried, I don't know. SBF, we'll just call him. And then Alameda Ventures as well, and FTX, which is really all owned by SBF as well. So it's already been listed on FTX's exchange, which is good news. And think about it, Coinbase Ventures is also an early investor. Do you think Coinbase is probably going to list it on their exchange? Would be reasonable to expect. So what is it going to do when Coinbase lists this? Also, let me share with you what I like about it. If you go to DeFi Llama, that's Llama with 2 L's, one of the things that you will find is total value locked. And if we look at total value locked between all the chains, we find out that there is $254 billion locked up, one form or another, staked or providing liquidity in all of DeFi. That's huge. That's $250 billion. But specifically on Ethereum, it's got getting close. It's about 167 billion. What's interesting is how much is locked up on Solana already. Really, it had almost nothing locked up here. And so since just August, it's 10x an amount of money locked up, providing liquidity or loaned out that people can borrow. And so let's scroll down and look at where that money is locked up within the Solana ecosystem. So Radium, which has been around one of the longest, has 2 billion. Serum's DEX has 1.65 billion locked up. And look at this, Solend, even though they just came out, 764 million locked up in DeFi already. That's some pretty good numbers. They literally just launched. Their IDO was just here. Now, I think there was some lending that you could do before then. I think their site was live before then. But they've been gaining steam fast. It was just like 1/4 of where they're at just like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I like these numbers. I'm at the wrong one. I'm at Solbank. That's not what I meant to be at. I was wondering why the dates were off. Solen. So here we see it going live on the 3rd. When I checked it out here, the total amount of total value locked was at like 200. Let's see. Yeah, it was at 200 million, and now they're up at 764 million. So they've almost 4x'd in amount of liquidity that's locked up. Another one that I'm really big on, and I shared with, we did a live stream prior to this for our Patreon members through Discord. If you join us in the Patreon, and we appreciate all of you that support. Essentially, I've been running this channel for free, but I really want to bring on some talented staff like D-Money and a business manager to help me because it gets overwhelming, and doing this for free, I mean, I do make a whole like $600 to $800 a month from YouTube. That income is nothing compared to the time. Like, I just don't have time to mess around with this, but I do like doing this for you because when I was new to YouTube, I didn't have somebody that thought like an investor. I had made the assumption that a lot of people with YouTube channels knew what they were talking about because they should. They've been in crypto for 2 or 3 or 4 years. They should know what they're talking about. And I found out, sadly, that they didn't, and really it's nobody's fault but my own. I should have just looked deeper, right? So I did want to start a channel, the kind of channel I wished I had when I started, as well as I like interviews of projects when I was new. I want to hear from the teams directly. So I wanted to create that type of channel where I could see things through an investor's lens, as well as have guests on so that I could hear and get a feel from the team directly, because it does make a difference, the leadership of the team. In fact, I think it makes 60% of whether it's going to be successful as a project or not. Now, 40% has to do with timing and the idea, but a full 60% has everything to do with the team. And you find out, like, successful people are successful in many things that they do, not just one, because success follows people. And so that's why I like to have interviews and bring people on so that you can fill them out for yourself and see what you think. So in the Rain is Always Right section 2, let's take a look at Solbank. I'm a big fan of Solbank. And now I've had some people, because we talk about this in our Telegram group, you can still join our Telegram group for free. We will close the doors on that as soon as our course is ready. And we have a a crypto secrets course that'll really catch up a lot of people that are new to crypto, that I step back and kind of give an overview as well as some other things. And we'll have that course live soon. When we do, we're going to shut off the free access to the Telegram group, and it will become a closed group that you'll only be able to join by getting the course. And that's also going to be a screening mechanism, because you will see that there are scammers that join the Telegram group too, and then they try to shill like meme coins or whatever dumb project, or even links to try to take your money. And so we want to be able to close that off and make an even better environment for all of you. So Soulbank, what do I like about it? Well, we had some people in the Telegram saying, oh, Soulbank, it's so risky. And it's like, it is risky. They only raised about $2 million when they funded this. A lot of this they raised from private investors. They did a small public round, but they didn't raise a lot of funds. And they're building a privacy wallet, a wallet on Solana, so that you can send funds, receive funds, and you can keep those private. They're also bridging Monero, so that Monero is used for people that want to keep all their transactions private, because it's a great privacy coin, but they also have a hard time accessing liquidity with Monero. So Soulbank is going to create a bridge between Solana to Monero, as well as have their Solana wallet where you can keep your transactions private. One of the downsides of blockchain is it is public. When people get your wallet address, they can see everything that you're buying, everything that you're doing. And in some senses, that's okay, but sometimes they're just things that you want to keep private too, and it's okay. There's normal people don't like to necessarily share everything that they're doing all the time, and that's normal, but there aren't a lot of solutions that offer that. Now, its market cap is so infinitesimally small. If this narrative hits, it could go to 100 million, it could go to 200 million, it could go to 300 or 400 million. So why do I like it? Well, I feel like the risk to reward is really good, in my own personal opinion, for my own investment. This isn't financial advice to you. You get to make your own decisions. So I have a lot in this. I have $30,000 to $40,000 invested into this. So do I believe in it? Yes. Now, does that make up like 5% of my portfolio even? It doesn't. So realize that I'm not going all in on 34 black here on the roulette table or anything. I'm going big, but still not huge as a percentage of my portfolio, because there is a chance it could fail. Just that chance is small enough that I like it.
Hey, Jay, Chuck asks a question. What's the symbol? Simple enough, SBNK, right?
Yep. Or, yeah, SBNK is a symbol. You can see it up here. The best way to find some of these Solana gems is on nomics.com. Sometimes on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, the charting doesn't go back very far, and Nomics is an up-and-coming one to try to take some of CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap's steam. And so I'm liking Nomics a lot. It also has the contract here so that you can add it to your Radium wallet. So it's got the information that you want, and it's up a little bit. Now, I guess there was a token drop recently, and so it did dip down pretty low. Let's see if I can get some better candles here. Yeah, there we go. And so my guess is a token unlock. It's popped right back up. Maybe some of the pre-sale investors that got the token unlock haven't sold. So I can't tell you what's going to happen in the next little bit. I'm just buying, and I've been dollar cost averaging into more and holding. I did take a little bit of profits here just because I saw that it was going to be dropping. So I took a little, I think it was actually back here, and then it went up, and then it went down. And so that then I used some of that to put more into Solland, which I like. All right, let's talk about some of the crypto news that's out there today. And here's some of the big news. Now, for those of you who are fairly new in crypto, you don't know what Mt. Gox is, but in the early days, it was really difficult to trade your Bitcoin. Where are you going to trade it? Now, Coinbase came around, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. But before that, there was somebody who put together a Magic the Gathering online exchange, and you could trade Bitcoin. Now, if you abbreviate that, it's Mt. Gox. So it's not like it's named after some mountain or anything. It's Magic the Gathering. Interestingly enough, where Bitcoin really started to have its initial use case is people selling World of Warcraft and other MMORPG items for Bitcoin, because it was harder for the games to trace, because they really wanted to make that illegal. They didn't like people being able to sell the value that they're creating in the game to others. Now it's becoming a feature and a benefit, but then the games were trying to shut that down in every way possible, and it was hard for them to shut down because they weren't really tracking Bitcoin. So a lot of the early Bitcoin exchanges had to do with exchanging value related to MMORPGs and Magic the Gathering as well, which isn't an MMORPG, but in the gaming space, it's more like a playable card game. So, what's going on there? Well, they were hacked and they crashed. I think it was 2016. A lot of FUD, or 2015, people said Bitcoin is dead because Mt. Gox was hacked. And so a lot of people had a lot of Bitcoin paid up in there. And so they had to file bankruptcy. They lost enough funds. They were no longer solvent. Still, though, they didn't lose all the Bitcoin. They still have Bitcoin. And that's been tied up in the Japanese courts for forever. And so it looks like some of the Bitcoin is going to be sold off to pay out some investors. And it's a relatively large amount of Bitcoin that has a huge amount of value now. And so some people who are watching this really closely realized this was going to happen 3 days ago. And that's part of who was selling off. I do think still some whales either were part of that or sold it off, because you always see historically this kind of dip before a massive run. And you can just look historically back here. Oh, things were going good. Bam, big sell-off, red candle there, and then it goes crazy. So this happens all the time. What else in the crypto news? Well, let me share with you this interesting piece. Do you realize that some of the crypto investors, think about, like, where did Mark Cuban make his money? D, have you followed Mark Cuban at all?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, he started off in, wasn't it like zip drives or something like that? Like, or was it zip drives or was it flash drives? I can't remember the technology.
I think it might have been those discs, but whether or not he made it in the tech boom of the 90s happening during that era, like, what was it, iOmega, and they had those zip drives, or I don't even remember what they were.
Zip drives. I think there was a Jazz drive that was like a gigabyte or something. Zip disks were, I mean, for those of you that weren't around, they were starting to include zip disks in like a standard PC that you would order from like Gateway or like freaking I can't even, IBM or whatever, and that was really fighting for like the large storage solution. It was 100 megabyte disk that you could record on, and then the CD burner is what really took over that space, which makes perfect sense. Yeah, and he made all that money during that wave of the technology boom. He's been late to the crypto game. There's some people that have been early, that have been around this space for a while, and Sam Bankman-Fried is a great example of this, now worth, $20 billion? So crypto is going to make more billionaires than the last major tech boom made. And so it's funny, you're seeing some of the fruits of that. Like some crypto investors, they put together a crowd fund in order to buy a rare copy of the U.S. Constitution. It was a first edition, right? Something like that. Yeah, and so they put together Constitution DAO. And funny enough, somebody else beat them with a lower bid. So I don't know, they had raised $47 million, and their bid was $47 million, and they gave it to somebody with a phone bid of $41 million. Oh, no, I guess they had only offered $40 million at that point, and then they gave this phone bid for $41 million. What's interesting now is I was thinking about this with Sam Bankman-Fried and others. There's another person I know in the crypto space, doesn't really make YouTube videos anymore. Somebody... Anyway, I found out the net worth of that person, at least the net worth of that person's Ethereum wallet, is like $400 million. $400 million. And that's right now. Actually, that information is about 5 months old. And so think of where they possibly even are now. And I was thinking about the amount of wealth that's really going to be created out of people that are smart in this space and stick around for long term. Now, that particular person's been in the space for 6 years. They don't go away during crypto winter. They stay there and they invest smart. So a lot of that money is going to transfer into the hands of people who commit here for the long term, that don't go away when it gets boring during the crypto winter. And I'm wondering how many billionaires there will be out of this audience alone. It made me think about that.
maybe just a couple. Billion's a lot of money, and it's hard to get to $1 billion if you don't already have some. But if you are patient and you invest for the long term, possibly you could even get there. But even then, $1 billion, what if we just said, I know many people's goals are $1 million or a millionaire. In a lot of countries, $1 million goes a long ways. Houses are $30,000 US approximately. So I'm excited about the wealth that's being created here in crypto. Interestingly enough, speaking about the wealth that's created here in crypto, do note that you do want to protect your crypto. So this crypto thief did what's called a SIM swap hack. And so he heisted $36 million from somebody. And he was caught after he then used some of the digital money to buy a rare username in a video game. And they were able to figure out who he was and came arrested. And they won't give the details of what video game it was, what username or anything. And so essentially, he stole 46 million Canadian. And the way he did is through a SIM swap, which, you know, there's ways that you can protect your phone. And there are some providers that you can use outside of the major ones that you can't get your SIMs hacked. Because what they can do is swap the SIM card on your phone, especially if they have an insider, because you can set up a PIN that you have to be able to give the PIN. But if they have an insider, look up your account, find out what that PIN is, then they can have access to your phone. And you know the ones where they do the text or the email verification? A lot of times then if they have your SIM, they can get the text or email verification, they can change the password, and then they have access to some of your accounts. So just be cautious. Hardware devices are good. I'm not going to tell you which hardware device to use. If you do get a hardware device, make sure you order it from the maker or the manufacturer directly.
Hey Jay, now that since we're talking about privacy, it seems like a good time to talk about the VPN, NordVPN that Dr. Stuff got us hooked up
We
with.
did a partnership with NordVPN. And the way we looked at this is we asked our business manager to take a look at all the VPNs out there because we realized how important they are and which one was the best versus the price. And so it really came down to two of them, and one has a really good long history of being good, but they just got bought out by a company that doesn't have a good track record. So we couldn't go with them because of that. Even though they've had a good name, the people who bought them do not have a good name. In fact, there's some kind of data thing that they sold off some data of some people. And so that's the last thing you want to have happen. The whole reason of using a VPN is so that your online activity isn't tracked. You can appear any country you want to. So NordVPN has a great price. You can use the discount code below, or just click on that link, or put the discount code Rainmaker in there, and it will just track it. I don't think there's an extra discount on it. Its price is already pretty cheap. You don't have to put our referral code in there. We just ask that you do, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. We do think that they're the best VPN out there if you're going to use a VPN, and it does keep your stuff private, because a lot of how the current internet companies that you're using, part of what they use to increase their revenues is they do sell your data, because they can track all the websites that you're going. If you use a VPN, it creates like a portal that then all your traffic, they can't really see where it's going. It gets kind of wrapped and goes all the way to the VPN provider. And as long as the VPN provider is keeping that traffic private, nobody else can see it. And I think with NordVPN, what our business manager was telling us was that they have it set up so they can't really even see what your traffic is, even if they wanted to. And so we felt like NordVPN was the most secure one out there, and the price is really good, especially if you do like a 2-year contract. Next news. So what's funny is you have to follow U.S. politics, and really this whole bill that made it so that any transactions over $10,000, like a broker has to write down the information or essentially send the IRS the information from the buyer. It's really ridiculous with the way DeFi works. And what happened is the way that bill got introduced into the U.S. Senate, it kind of got snuck through. I really think Janet Yellen was behind it, because she was talking about this. And she got some no-name Democrat senator to sneak it into the bill. And then, because there was a fight between Democrats and Republicans, Chuck Schumer said no more bills can be debated. They have to go through as put in. Well, so many of you in the U.S. started calling your senators and congressmen that the Democrats realized they had made a huge mistake, but at this point they couldn't change it. So there is a bipartisan group of Democrats and Republicans trying to make this a little bit more clear, a little less burdensome. If you are in the U.S., I do not think, if you're a crypto investor, Janet Yellen is your friend. That doesn't mean Democrats or Republicans are your enemy. You really have to look at each one to know whether they are. But Janet Yellen, not your friend. She's already made her stance known about what she thinks about crypto. So, and she was behind sticking that in. Now, hopefully, it is good that it seems like a good number of Democrats and a good number of Republicans are for reforming this. Because if they mess things up in the U.S., all that's going to do is hold back the U.S. Crypto is still going to go. It's just not going to happen in the U.S. It'll slow down the general movement. But I think what would happen is the U.S. realize how much money they're losing out, how many of their own people are then leaving the country for other countries and renouncing their citizenship is exactly what will happen. If you make $100 million through crypto, you can do that in a heartbeat. You can live very well outside the U.S. in whatever country you want with better taxes, and that's what it will lead to if the U.S. continues to be unfriendly towards cryptocurrency. How are we doing on time? We are. I want to make sure you get your questions. Interestingly enough, Newegg, which is a big site for ordering tech products like computer parts and other things, is offering 20% Black Friday discount if you pay in crypto through, I think it's a BitPay or something. BitPay. Interesting, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I've said, like anytime that you see any news, right? I feel like it's good news for crypto, and Newegg is a huge online retailer. I hadn't seen that until you brought it to my attention, and it's one of my very favorite go-to Black Friday places, right? And so to see this and an extra 20% on top of everything, I'm like, sweet, it's way cool to start seeing some of these major retailers accepting cryptocurrency, just bringing it more into the mainstream, and that's where we like to see it going.
Let's see how we're doing on likes. Let's see what our total number of likes. You know what? I feel like we're doing pretty good there. Now, we did a Pocket Arena draw for the castles, and we didn't get a response from one of the people who won to verify what their user account is. And so what do you say we give away that castle? We gave him plenty of time. We even gave notes on this channel. I emailed them. My producer emailed them. What else can you do, right? So
yeah, sounds good to me. I'm freaking out because I really wanted that, and because if you guys remember, it's worth like $500, and then you can just loan it out to a player, and then increase the XP on your castle, and it becomes more and more valuable. I'm like, why wouldn't I want something like that? So what are we going to do? How do you want to give it away?
Well, so who in the chat has played Pocket Arena, and start putting your usernames in there, because you got to have a username, and then we'll reach out to you, and we do need a response within a day, or we will give it to someone else, because the Pocket Arena team is like, oh my gosh, you don't have all 4 names for us yet? And I'm like, we don't. Sorry, we're just waiting for confirmation on one more person. And so we gave them notice, I think Wednesday, and today is the day because we didn't hear back from them. So is there? Clay Bomb says, give it. The Real Crackerjack says, giveaway, question mark. All right, for those of you who don't know, I might have this on my Pocket Arena. This is it. And how do I go to... I do have trouble navigating their system. I've had a hard time figuring it out. But essentially, I don't have my own castle pegged to myself, so it's not going to show my castle here. But you can see I actually did get my castle pegged to myself for a while. But then if you don't play it, the person that you loan it to, if they don't play it for over 24 or 30 hours, with no playing, no XP gained, it kicks them out of the contract. And I don't have time to play this every day. And so it kicked me out of my own contract. So I was like, that's cool. I lent it to someone else. But essentially, it's a castle defense, and you can put these little things. And as you upgrade your castle, you get more money in the castle. You get more experience. You can upgrade the base level of these as well as your cannons. So, fun game. But we're going to be giving away that castle. And Crypto Shaman Healer says, sweet. If you don't have one already, then you might want to open it up and create it really quick, and we'll come back and give that giveaway in just a bit. If you haven't hit the like already, go ahead and hit that like. We do have more giveaways coming, so help us grow this channel by liking every one of our videos. It helps us tremendously, and even sharing it out, because as we get bigger, I don't do the YouTube for the money. That's why I fronted the cost of this for so long. I do appreciate all our Patreon members who help me pay some hard costs of growing a team to do a better production so that I can focus on more of the research and analysis that I'm good at. So thank you to them. Because bearing those costs was just getting like, it already takes a lot of energy to have a crypto YouTube channel that I have to then continue selling my own investments to pay those costs was not fun. So thank you. A little help from each person goes a long way. So thank you very much to all our Patreon members who help really support this and help us grow.
Yeah, and we'll be doing a wand chain giveaway as well, right? Starting maybe Monday or Wednesday. Keep your eye on the Telegram group. We'll let you know when we're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And it looks like more people are coming on the stream right now, Jay. So just give them a quick idea again of what they need to do to enter for this.
For the Pocket Arena, go ahead and go to pocketarena.com. I had the website pulled up and then I closed it. But just kind of make sure you have a character created. It'll have you, I don't remember how I signed up for this because I did it for a while ago. It'll relate your email to it once you create an account. And what we will need is that email in order to be able to get it to you. And so you might, we'll announce a winner here, and then we'll email you, and then you send us an email back confirming that email. And then we got to get that. We'll get that with our other 3 winners. One of those winners was Fodl, and he's been such a strong community member. I hate delaying his Pocket Arena Castle, so I'm excited to be able to get that to him. All right, so we'll go back to Pocket Arena in just a second. Why don't we open up for community questions so we make sure we don't short that? Before we do, quick thank you to our sponsors, Wand Chain. That does help cover some hard costs for us. It's kind of like if you're a basketball player and you're already wearing Nikes, and Nike comes to you and says, hey, can we sponsor you? And it's like, yes, but part of that sponsorship deal, I asked them to give us 500 won every month to be able to give away to you. So we give away 125 won 4 times a week. Now, for those of you who don't know, Wand Chain is WANCHAIN. They launched in 2017. They were one of the hottest ICOs of 2017. A fantastic project. They have some of the best cross-chain bridge technology out there by far. They're currently trading about $1. They were trading at the peak of the last market almost $10. And so I think they have a lot of upside, my expectation for myself. And you can see I have a lot of money tied up in this myself. You can see that better. This is, let's see, I use the farming through Zookeeper.finance, and it had a slight retrace. I currently have 100,000 here that is farming and making me some good returns, and a little bit like 4,000 in this. And it goes up and down. But I did pull out. I was also farming Ethereum with Wand pairing, but I did spend the money to buy this Infinity Jawbreaker, which boosts my rewards to 62% increase. So I did flip all my Wand ETH pairing over to this one, and it's now earning me 85.98 Zoo a week, and I think Zoo's trading about 20 or 30 cents right now. So what is that? At 20 cents, that's $1,700 a week. Not bad.
Yeah.
And Zoo was recently at like 35 cents. At 35 cents, that number goes up a lot. So,
hey Jay, first question that caught my eye. Now that you talk about teams, you were talking about how you love to highlight teams in interview. And what are your thoughts on Freeway's team, Freeway token?
So I've been talking to somebody on the team for a long time that I really like and interact with. He resonates, does the same kind of research that I do. And he's been fantastic. And I've had multiple people put me in touch with Graham, the CEO. So I've talked to him a number of times. And he's cool. And I appreciate the updates from Sadie, who is one of the founders that I haven't talked to. But she does these video updates every week that you can go and subscribe to their newsletter and you get them. They also do a behind the scenes one about stuff that's coming up just for VIPs, basically people with YouTube channels, to give us a preview as what is up and coming. I can't share that information, but I do hint at it. And so usually we get things about a week in advance before they're generally announced, and they specifically say, don't share this out. So I try to give you hints what's coming up. Freeway token is one of my biggest bets that I think is going to do amazing. And so I like the team behind it. I like the token. Unfortunately, it's not as cheap as it was. It was really, really cheap, under a penny. In fact, just recently, it was as low as 0.7 cents. And that was a really attractive price. It went all the way up to 1.8. It retraced and went right back up like this to 1.5 cents. It's still really, really cheap. The market cap is only $30 million. It might be as high as 60 million because they did unlock 2 billion that the team is using for the ecosystem, to the team to use for the ecosystem. It's not showing up here in the circulating supply. The team did say it wouldn't be entering the circulating supply, or at least most of it would not. And so it seems like they've been honoring that. Their platform is now usable in the US, so you can sign up using the links below for it. You can earn some really, really good returns on your stablecoins. You can earn some extra money on some of their superchargers, like their Cardano supercharger and some of the other superchargers, like Bitcoin supercharger. The reason why I'm going to be using the stablecoins one and I'm not in the Cardano one is because I would have loved to have the Cardano one available to me like a year ago. Because when you're transferring things over and then you're putting your money into this supercharger, there's a little bit of cost there. So it makes more sense to have it locked up there for a while rather than in and out transactions. And so I like it. When I think the market bottoms, I'll be flipping out of my stablecoin superchargers that I'll be starting to enter in the next month. As I pull money out of other things and profits, I'm going to put them into their superchargers, their stablecoin ones, which earn you about 3% a month is how they've been performing, which annualized, that's about 43% a year. And letting my stablecoins grow while I let the market potentially crash and come down. And then when I feel like it's the bottom, I'm going to pull some of mine out of the stablecoin superchargers into, say, like the Cardano supercharger and other superchargers that they have like that, which will give you, up to a 20% rate of return in that token, like in the value pegged to that token. So, like the team, I wish I'd met more of them. I haven't met Sadie. I've met Graham. I've met the other person I've frequently been in contact with. He's always got me answers really quick. I've been talking to them for 6 months. The reason I took so long to even talk about them to you, it took me a good 4 months to really talk about them to you, because I was like, man, their rate of return on this is just so high. Just sounds too good to be true. And I don't know for sure that it isn't too good to be true. There's still like 5% of me that's like, yeah, still could be too good to be true. So I'm not going to throw 100% of what I pull out from and take profits into any one basket, but I might put as much as 35% into Freeway tokens, stablecoin supercharger. All right, what other questions do we have?
I've got this one from Joshua. What do you think about AVXT, if you can appreciate it?
ADX?
AVXT. AVAX stars. It looks like it's something on the AVAX.
I know nothing about AVAX stars. I can look at their charts with you. Oh my goodness gracious. That's starting just in late October, and it's gone crazy. So this is how I do my research when I don't know, so I can give you a view. So contract is on Avalanche. You can connect your MetaMask to work with Avalanche, which is nice. It gives it easy functionality that you don't have to download a whole new wallet. Okay, a real metaverse P2E game. Avalanche seems like a good blockchain for games. As to whether this is good, now, I don't know. Would I be buying it? So it looks like they have an ERC20 contract. Yeah. If their NFTs are on Ethereum, I'm not interested at all. And I don't chase these kind of green candles. Now, it is in a consolidation period. That doesn't mean it can't continue to break higher. But I'm looking for things earlier on. If you think since just October went from $4 to $47, so it's already 10x'd. that's just not the opportunity I'm looking for, unless that's the only opportunity that I have, because everything's been pumping. And then I'm looking for a consolidation, a retrace. If it retraces further, then I'm looking for a good entry. I just can't do enough research on this in such a short amount of time to say I'm interested. Its market cap is pretty small, but their total supply is 200 million. I like that small. Well, interestingly, 1 million here. It says total supply is in 200,000. Circulating supply is 91,000. Interesting. All right. Let me see what else we have in here. Or do you see any?
Yeah, I mean we're kind of up against it. I'm wondering if we should just give the Pocket Arena, give the castle away, because we've only got about 2-3 minutes left before we need to do the wrap. Bearish Bull just asked for ICX or RFox.
Icon I know pretty well. It was one of the biggest pumpers during the last move. I haven't stayed close to it. I did make a trade on Icon about 8 months ago and flipped it for some good profits. Let's see. All right, who would play Pocket Arena and wants this giveaway, or would manage having somebody out there who's into the NFT games that's really interested? Let me know. And we'll give this last one away to somebody who's committed so that we can get their email right away and get this all turned around.
You looking through the chat, it looks like we've gotten a few
Let's
usernames.
do Claybomb. Claybomb's the first to give us right there. Pocket Arena username, Claybomb.
Okay, yeah, and he did it above too as well.
Perfect, Claybomb. It is yours. So, yeah, we'll get your email and username. Get that given to you. Thank you, guys. We're still figuring out these live streams, and it's a work in progress. I mean, D-Money's background is on YouTube and getting it up there in the rankings, but being a producer is new to him, and we're getting our setup streamlined and having fun with where this is going. My background's investment. What I know is economics and the psychology of people behavior. So even making YouTube channels themselves is kind of new to me. And so I do like that now with the live streams we get to interact. I get to read your comments and see what you're thinking about, because I do like the ability to interact with you. And so right now I do get that ability also through Discord and also through our Telegram. So if you haven't joined the Telegram, at least join that. If you're up for some better fun, join the Patreon. There is a gate on it, and we put that gate on there on purpose. $20 per month gets you into that gate. And the reason, I shared this story before, but back when I was throwing big parties, when I was living in this place and I was single, and when I used to throw these big parties, we'd get some people that would just show up and they'd just complain about everything. And I liked creating a nice environment that people could meet people and have fun, because I found in mid-40s, a lot of people weren't doing that. And so when you're single in your mid-40s, a bunch of people are divorced, some people never got married, everyone's so worried about themselves. I want to create a fun environment, and that's just my nature. I like bringing people together to advance us all towards where our goals are. And a lot of people got married out of that, or at least found good relationships out of that, and it was fun. But all these complainers would show up, and all these whiners would just come up and, life sucks. And so I started charging $20 for the party, and then I had some gals that would help me, would go buy the food, and we'd have some good food there. All the complainers and whiners went away completely, because, man, they're probably at home complaining about how the party was $20 to come to, and so they didn't show up, and it created a sterile environment. Because I found when there were a bunch of complainers at the party, some of the people that I really wanted there would leave because they didn't want to be around people that were complainers and whiners. And so it really kept a nice, clean, sterile environment that was a good environment for people to get what they were trying to get out of those parties. And so that's why we created a gate on the Discord that basically you have to be a Patreon member, and everyone there is committed to their future. That's what that gate does. So thank you for those, because coming there, it also supports the channel a lot. So thank you to all of you Patreon members that have supported us and help us grow. As we get bigger with that, I will take some of those funds and reinvest them in fun things to make this a really fun time. I'd love to make some good Rainmaker NFTs. That's always been one of my goals. Maybe at some point bring on an artist, bring on a person that we can do more videos than just here in this studio. So thank you for helping fund the growth of this channel as well. And thank you, because I didn't want to keep supporting it, selling off my own investments to a large extent during a bull run. Not to a large extent, but it hurts when you're pulling $6,000 out here and $6,000 out of things you don't even want to be selling. So thank you to all of you who are helping make make this a little bit of a burden off my back in helping this grow. All right, we've got this wrap for all of you that Charlie out of the UK recorded. I did write the words to this. This is reinforcing the principles that we teach in this channel to help people get to the dreams that they're looking for. Now, commit to the next 5 years. You'll be surprised how much can happen in that during that time, especially if you'll stick around during the crypto winter. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic, they dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sinking out this road cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.